The idea, insight, or secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. It's time to claim your career crown. The podcast where business owners and entrepreneurs share the keys to the kingdom to help you open the vault to your greater success. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Petite to Queen's Claim Your Career Crown podcast. I'm your host, the Joyful Sales Queen, Lynn Whitbeck, and today I'm joined by our very special guest, Robin Muhammad, and we're going to be talking about critical nutritional secrets female entrepreneurs can't afford to ignore. You know, healing burnout and blood sugar while building a thriving business is absolutely vital for business owners and entrepreneurs. And if you get a ton of value out of this episode, I'd love to invite you to subscribe because, after all, it costs nothing to subscribe and you won't miss a single episode. Let me tell you about Robin because she's an amazing individual. We just had the best time talking in the green room. She's an entrepreneur, nutritionist, speaker, and founder of Necessary Nutrition, Inc. And for over 17 years, she's empowered thousands of women to use food as medicine and live healthy, filled, purpose-driven lives. Now, Robin is also the creator of Necessary Nutrition supplement line and has been featured on CNN Headline News and more. Her mission is to help others nourish their bodies, elevate their lives, and thrive. Robin, I am so thrilled to have you here today. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. I want to say this, Lynn. Out of all the introductions that I've ever received, this one was by far the most recent.
Well,
how are you?
I am doing well. And, I'm really excited about this because I really am looking to get a lot of value for myself out of this interview, yes. Robin. So I want to dive right in. Sure. And I'd love to hear what inspired you to get started on your journey from burnout to balance.
So what inspired me to start my journey? Well, honestly, once upon a time, I had no clue about food and nutrition. I was overweight. I was pre-diabetic. And I always say this, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. I wanted to make a shift. I just didn't know how. And someone came into my life and helped me get it together. And I realized, Lynn, at that point, that food will either kill you or keep you alive. That a lot of what we face are due to what we put in our mouths or what we don't put in our mouths. And once I realized that inspired me. Now, as a female entrepreneur that is busy juggling all these things, there is a serious effect when it comes to burnout. And so I want to share with you all, fellow entrepreneurs, what you can do to stay energized and focused and feeling vibrant. So we're going to get into that.
Oh, absolutely. And everyone, busy moms, yes. Busy career women, busy dads. Come on, mm-hmm. It all applies to everyone. And yes. It's definitely, it's so important. So I'd love to let's dive into this. What are those critical nutrition secrets that yes. we can't afford to ignore?
All right. So let's dive into it. I'm going to share with you all 4. And sometimes I say these are the mistakes that entrepreneurs make or other busy women. The 4, I'm going to also say that they're nutrition and health secrets overall. So there's 4 in particular that I'm going to share with you today. So number 1 really is about our stress release, because even if you don't think that you are stressed, your body, if you're on the go, busy doing, from a cellular level, your cells are worked. And I used to have people say, oh, you should meditate. You need to rest. You need to breathe. If you are over 40 as a female, you don't have the hormonal support that you used to have when it comes to estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. And because you don't have that protection, your body doesn't behave the same. So it is critical, as critical as eating, daily to have a stress release routine on your calendar. For example, meditation, which is very difficult for me, as most of us, our brains are going everywhere. But even if you are breathing, if you're just sitting, walking in nature, and here's something else. I don't know if you've ever heard of grounding, where you literally have your feet on the earth and you are feeling the soil or the sand. That is really beneficial. So one of those needed sections for our health and our life as busy people is a stress release routine. That is number one. Like your life depends on it, because it does. So that's my challenge, is to make sure that you do that. And I personally, begrudgingly sometimes, because I just want to jump out of bed and get to work, but I know my hormones, they don't want that. So I get up every day and I meditate. So that's number one. Number two are to take adaptogens, adaptogenic herbs. What are those? I'm going to give you a few examples of adaptogenic herbs. But what adaptogenic herbs help you do, they're plant-based compounds. They help your body adapt to stress. All the environmental things that are going on, it helps your body balance and release the stress. So you may have heard of ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil. Those are examples of adaptogens. I am a nutritionist, but I'm not your nutritionist, those that are listening. So before you just go out and just start taking things, please do your research, consult with your professionals to make sure that there aren't any interactions that can happen with what you're already doing. But adaptogenic herbs is a game changer for us as entrepreneurs, because we need that background support to help us get through stress. Also, nootropics. Nootropics, what are those? Now, I don't know, Lynn, if you can relate in this way. You walk into the room, or you get up from your chair, you go to the other room, you are on your way to get something. By the time you get there, you're like, why did I come in here? Or you're trying to think of someone's name and you can see their face, but it's at the tip of your tongue. You, for the life of you, cannot remember that person's name. So as we're getting older, our cognition changes, and nootropics helps us with focus, energy, and mental clarity. And what are nootropics? And I'm all a belief in natural. So you might have heard of yerba mate, ginseng. Yeah. Those are examples of nootropics. And lion's mane helps you focus. And I literally drink a drink of nootropics daily to help with that cognition. And they really do work. So number two mistake that people make is not taking adaptogens and nootropics. Y'all research that and give that a try, and just see if you feel better, if you think better, if you have more energy. Number three, every time I say this, I'm like, this is the big one, but they're all pretty important. And this one's on the nutrition side for sure, is that as entrepreneurs, perhaps we're not consuming enough protein. Protein, chicken, fish, turkey, tofu, eggs, cottage cheese, plain Greek yogurt. Why? So protein helps with our blood sugar. And if your blood sugar is off kilter, you can feel tired, you can feel shaky. It helps with our muscle mass, and you need that for your metabolism. And it helps you stay fuller longer so you can do your work and get through your day. What that looks like, Lynn, is having a protein source with every single meal. For example, if you have a rice, you want to have chicken or tofu. You want to have your protein every time you eat. We have the tendency, if we're snacking, we'll have popcorn. which is yummy, but we'll leave out the protein. Yeah. And leaving out the protein prolonged will lead to weight gain, blood sugar issues, bone challenges, all of these things that none of us as entrepreneurs want. Yeah. Right? We don't want that. Yeah. So that is number, I think, 3. Yep. And then the last one, so I'm going to repeat: the dedicated stress routine, the adaptogens and nootropics, having your protein every meal, and I would say with every snack if you snack. And then the 4th one is making sure that you are getting adequate vitamin D with K2. And let me explain what that is all about. So vitamin D comes from the sun, and there is energy in the sun. And when we get the sun, it changes our mood and all of the things in our bodies. It's a tremendous support for us. If you're not in the sun, and a lot of us are inside, then oftentimes we're not getting it. And as we age, our bodies it's less efficient in processing it. So oftentimes supplementation comes into play. If you don't have your adequate vitamin D, you can feel tired, your body can ache, your hair can fall out, and it can weaken your immune system. Most people know about vitamin D, but they don't know about vitamin K2. Now, why is that important? So when you're taking vitamin D without K2, then the calcium that's in your body, calcium, can go into your arteries, can go into your kidneys. You've heard of calcification of the arteries. When you bring in the K2, that helps to take the calcium and put it into your bones and where it needs to go, and away from your heart where it doesn't need to go. Yeah. And that is something I want all entrepreneurs and all women and all the people that you love to know, that D3 and K2 belong together unless you are on a blood thinner or you are on dialysis. Otherwise, the D3, K2 go together. All of this is designed, Lynn, and those that are listening, to keep you all focused, excited, and making money for your business. Yeah. No, so I assume that with like vitamin D and with the K2, can you get that when you're outside and you're just absorbing the sun? Is that natural or? It's natural. So K2 is more in some food sources. Okay. The vitamin D absolutely is in the sun. And if between 10 and 2, now you're in Seattle. Yeah. So that, depending on where you are, the sun is not as available. So there are people in certain states and climates that the vitamin D is just not available. I'm from California, so the vitamin D is more available if you're in Florida, but if you're in certain places, and Seattle happens to be, well, Washington is one of them, it's not as available. It's most available between 10 and 2 without sunscreen. Yeah. And you need to be out there about 15 or 20 minutes. One of the important things for everyone that's listening is to get your vitamin D levels checked. So then you actually know what you are dealing with. And your body is maximally supported when your levels are between 60 and 80. 30, you're not deficient, but that's like minimum wage. Yeah. So you want your body to be maximally supported. Okay. Well, I mean, this was all fascinating. I think I could have spelled a few things wrong in the live stream chat, but that's all right. No worries. So when you're working with someone, to balance out their nutrition or to help them, do you have a process? I mean, how do you get started? So I am a nutritionist. I do not work widely with everyone as a nutritionist. So I have a small community, and within that community, I support the members. The very first thing that I do is I have an intake questionnaire because I want to know the person. And from there, I've been doing this for 17 years now, and I've seen a lot of things. So whatever a person is dealing with and what their goals are, then I will lay out the strategy. And sometimes people say, no, I don't want to do that. Right? Like, this is what you can do. And they say, no. So I'm always figuring out, what are you willing to do? And then we go from there, because we're all very different. We have different mindsets, lifestyles, all of the things. My goal is to support a person where they are and help to point them to their goals, but I don't do it alone. I am a nutritionist, but as a female, we have so many other things going. So I actually have a team that helps to support. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
does. And so my next question is, because you brought it up in the answer, that some people are resistant to this, or I don't want to do that. So why is hormonal harmony, and getting this balance such a challenge for so many?
I want to say this. When we were our yesterday self, we were different. Now today, we're another version of ourselves, and we don't want to let the yesterday us go. We remember when we could do A, B, and C. And all we want to do is return back to who we were. So oftentimes we're resistant to the change that it requires for the new you. The new you has to do things differently from the old you.
Yeah.
And that requires something different. Our bodies need certain foods in order to thrive, whether you like them or not. Right? So and I know people say, well, I don't want to eat this thing. And there's always options. Like, I don't like sardines. Don't give me a sardine. There are other foods that can do the same thing as sardines. So what I just find out is, what are you willing to do? And then let's figure out what fits into that space. But those hormones that we have or had need certain nutrients, regardless of how you feel about it. And when your body gets those nutrients, I'll give this example, and we may talk about this later, but leafy greens. Leafy greens help to support our estrogen. Leafy greens, kale, spinach,
chard.
Now, maybe you hate chard, right? I'm like, okay, what about spinach? And you say, I like spinach, but I don't want to eat it raw. I say, well, let's cook it. Let's start with what you will do, but it supports your estrogen. And we, at this age and stage, I would recommend that we eat for intention. We know how to eat for pleasure, but eating for intention is important for our longevity and our brain to focus. But I never want to tell anyone, don't eat a certain thing. My focus is, do eat a certain thing. And there's strategies for every type of a person. There's a strategy so that they can get to where they want to go. Sometimes it depends on how fast a person wants to do a thing.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of creative ways that you can do these things. I live with my 87-year-old mother, to help with her. And she doesn't like kale. She doesn't like chard. She doesn't, And what I do actually is I create, like, it's not a pesto, but essentially I put it in my Cuisinart, but it's filled with kale and chard leaves, garlic, and onion. And then I mince it to it's like a pesto, right? But then I can put several spoons into sauces.
And she loves it.
And she doesn't even notice that I don't tell her.
Correct.
That there's.
Yes.
And yet I'm getting I'm putting a couple tablespoons into sauces. And granted, it's not like that. You got to remember, it's all been munched down. So, and it does help, right? So there's so many ways to try different things and to cook them different ways. And you'll discover that, oh, I actually really like it this way. It's really good. Yeah. And so I would challenge people that my daughter happens to really love sardines, and
bless her heart.
And I wouldn't necessarily, I just like, ugh. But then that's okay, but she loves sardines, and it is a great protein source, right? And then there's a lot of different things that you can do. I mean, I'll put walnuts in like a stir fry that has chard and fresh peppers, and just I put different things in there, right? Every time it's different, and then I throw in walnuts, and then it's all tossed in olive oil and stir fried basically as a side dish. It's delicious. But, you got to be willing to be adventuresome and try different things. At least I think so.
Yeah, you do, because your body, it needs it on a cellular level. I always like to say this, going back to our hormones, if our cells do not receive certain nutrients, they're going to work against us. And it'll just show up in our lives later. And one of the things, there's a number of things, but one of the things that I say, and I challenge ladies and men to do for 1 week, have a big salad before your largest meal, whatever that is. Just for 1 week, just have a big salad with beets and nuts and chard and all the colors that you can fit in there, vegetable wise, just for a week before you eat. That's all. So we just figure out something easy to do.
Yeah, and it's not that hard to put like garbanzos so you get some protein, or you can put a hard-boiled egg that's been sliced up in there. You can add, grilled chicken, or whatever, those sardines.
Yes. They will not be in my salad, but they will be in your daughter's salad.
There's always a lot of different things that you can do. So I agree. So, what, I wanted to ask you about this. Why is nutrition in general such a blind spot that people aren't even thinking about it or considering it? Well, I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Well, wow, that's a good question. The things that we like the most are generally if you're looking at TV, what's being advertised, or snacks, or things that our palate is gravitating to, are the things that don't necessarily support us. Yeah. And just as a society, we've been led to believe that, we should eat packaged foods or foods on the go. And so nutrition doesn't seem as fun. Like, never is kale as fun as a donut. It just never is to anyone, right? It just isn't. And the things that we are in our minds, the things that we're craving, for example, when you're craving something sweet, you think, I want some cherry pie, or I want some chocolate. But your body might be saying, no, ma'am, you need magnesium. No, ma'am, you need a sweet potato for your progesterone. But our mind's like, no, I want some chocolate, really, So we just don't know what our body is really asking for. Years and years ago, back in yesteryear, when we didn't have these cravings, we didn't have these desires, we were out hunting and killing, our body wasn't craving Fruity Pebbles. Like, we just didn't know that. So now it's a blind spot because the world is giving us certain foods. And honestly, Lynn, when our brain tastes something sugary and yummy, and it lights up our dopamine. It's very difficult when our pleasure hormone, that neurotransmitter, is excited to walk away from a thing. So when you eat, not you, but me, if I eat a Snicker, that temporarily makes me very, very happy. And so my brain is saying, you like that, you like that, you like that. There are other things to excite that dopamine in our brain, but we have to know what it is. We have to train our bodies to do it. So it's hard. And I promise you, I would be a bazillionaire if I were selling cookies. Like, I would. But my company offers vitamin D. No one is like round the corner lined up for vitamin D, but they would for cookies. So that's the thing. It's just not as fun. It's just not as fun.
Yeah. But there's always healthy ways that, to your point, sometimes when you eat the things that are really like in the evening, I always have, like right now, we've got a lot of cherries that, and I love cherries. So I
Yes.
will, eat cherries as my dessert. Or last
Yes.
night I actually had grapes. So I had a bowl of grapes. And so there's a lot of different things that you can do that are giving you sugar, right?
Yes.
And but it's so weird because sometimes if I go, oh, I want something sweet and I have like a chocolate bar or something, it's like or a piece of chocolate, it actually doesn't satisfy me. So it's like finding that balance for everyone.
Everyone
I
is
love
different.
doing a nut mix with, like some of the dried cranberries and raisins. And then I put like a granola, oats in there. And I find that's really delicious. So.
And this is a sidebar. This is kind of what we're talking about, but on another level. So in our gut is always speaking. And this is my personal story. Is recently I was tested and I had some remnants of candida. We all have bad bacteria in our gut. And I did a gut detox. And when I did that, then I noticed that my cravings subsided. I also noticed, if I'm being honest, that I was less gassy, bloated. And I didn't know that because I think, oh, I eat well. I didn't know that I had this pesky bacteria in my gut being menacing. And it is something that I now recommend to those that I work with specifically to do a detox once a year for your gut, like the first of the year, maybe, just to get yourself on the right track because it really does rebalance the gut population. And then it informs your brain and then your mouth what to ask for. So fascinating. So fascinating.
Well, it almost leads into my next question, which is
Okay.
what should listeners do next about healing burnout and getting their blood sugar in balance while building a thriving business?
Yeah. So let me answer this. I'm going to give you all 6 foods and things that I want you to do. Okay. And then, yes, I'm going to give you this and then I'm going to share something else. So number 1, what I want all of you all to do is eat leafy greens like your life depended on it, right? So your kale, your spinach, your collards, because it helps with your hormones. So make that commitment. Don't think about, do you like it? You can put the kale in the oven and make them into chips, but you want to get those leafy greens. That's number 1, because it supports your hormones. Number 2, and these are easy things, because when I say this, you say, I could do that. Berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, berries, a cup a day. Put them in plain yogurt, put them in a smoothie. Berries, it helps your brain, it helps your immune system, helps you stay focused. Number 3, protein with every meal. Here's the deal, write this down. 30 grams with every meal. And I'm going to tell you this, 2 eggs will give you only 12 grams. So that is where I come in when I'm working with my community to help them make sure they're getting the adequate amount every time they eat and how we can negotiate that. But protein, 30 grams with every meal, super important. That can be a game changer. On the other side of that, those that are listening, if you want to take it to another level, if you want to do 30 grams of protein and cut the amount of starches in half, that will help you in so many ways. Number 4, add some beans and legumes. So black beans, red beans, navy beans, add some lentils to your life. Number 5, flaxseed, ground and kept in the refrigerator. Flaxseed helps with estrogen, helps with fiber. It gives you omegas. It's so powerful. A tablespoon or 2 daily. Put it in your salad, put it in your smoothie, but make sure you keep it in the refrigerator. And then am I on number 6? Number 6, avocado. Yay, avocado. We can make guacamole. You can make avocado toast. Avocado is good fat. It's fiber. Yeah, avocado is full of fiber. Who knew? And then I recommend that you take adaptogens and no nootropics. That's going to help your body process stress. It's going to help your brain stay focused, give you energy so you can get through those tasks and focus on one task. Because as an entrepreneur, we have so many tasks, and you know that you need to hone in on the one that you are working on. Those help. I'm also going to say D3K2 because that helps the body. Magnesium, I'm just going to leave it at that because that's a whole nother talk. But if you are over 50, you definitely want to have magnesium because it helps with bone density. And then the third one is a high quality omega, which you can find in sardines. So if your daughter is doing that, if you're taking it as a supplement, you definitely want to have a high quality omega. And then at some point, I'll talk about the nutrition reset as a support, but maybe we'll get to that in a little bit.
Well, that's we're actually at the last question, and that's, is there anything you wish I'd asked you? And I think we just set it up.
Yes. So I have a 7-day nutrition reset. It is a freebie, and I will coach you through 7 days of flooding your body with the foods that it supports it and removing the foods and habits that may not support you just for 7 days. And why 7 days? You can do anything for 7 days. It's a short enough period where you can see results. Literally, if your intention is to get some pounds off, if you follow the 7-day reset, you will see pounds coming off. You will see results in 7 days. And the good news is it's a freebie. So you can get it right now, and you can connect with me that way. And I will literally support you through that for 7 days.
Okay. Well, that sounds amazing. And you gave me the link before in the green room. So I'm going to drop that in the live stream, and it will be in our podcast notes for everybody who's listening on whatever podcast platform you have. So Robin, thank you so much for sharing critical nutrition secrets female entrepreneurs can't afford to ignore. And so along with this 7-day reset, where else can people connect with you?
So I'm on all the platforms as at Nessie Nutri, NESSYNUTRI, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those places. And then our website is nessienutri.com, which maybe it's around here somewhere, or a link. It's also necessary-nutrition.com. I shorten it and Lynn taught me, so I'm going to say this, Lynn taught me some tips. So she was giving me some wonderful sales coaching, which I appreciate before we hopped on there. But yes, you can find me, and my company is Necessary Nutrition, and I've been doing this for 17 years. And I'm immensely grateful, Lynn, that you allowed me to share this information, because we all want the same thing. We want to be successful in our business. We want to feel good. We want to look good. And if I can help with that, then that is what I am called to do. I am like all of you. I am a nutritionist, but I also run a full-on business, and I need to remember people's names. And I need to not fall asleep on my computer and have the energy to thrive. So I wish that for all of you. And I look forward to connecting with any of you that want to connect with me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Robin. There is so much incredible information. I know that everyone here in our audience, thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you so much.
This has been so valuable.
Thank you.
And Robin, thank you again. I'm so glad you were here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share. Thank you.
What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? I would love to hear about it. It's important to share the things you love. If you loved this episode, a 5-star review really helps keep the podcast coming to you regularly. Also, if you want to get more sales strategies to grow your business, make sure you subscribe right now. If you want to get results even faster, I invite you to download my sales strategy checklist at petitetoqueen.com/checklist. This has been Lynn Whitbeck, host of Claim Your Career Crown. I'll see you next time